You've just mentioned about your divorce.
Yeah.
What was the reason for the marriage breakdown?
Yeah, if you look at my story going back, so really I moved to the US to be with my partner as someone who is, I would say, very romantic, very traditional. You know, I was like, okay, this is the person I love. And you know, I left my career, I left my family, I left my country. I was staying in Canada at the time. And so, you know, we were together, but, you know, it was something where he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And so not saying that that's what broke it off, but it was more the impacts of mental health on an individual. So, you know, mental health is an issue that is close to my heart because I've gone through it as someone who's dealt with someone with mental health. But it was more that bipolar is a very difficult illness, and it's first of all, it's very hard to medicate, to understand. Well, the first thing comes from the person actually accepting that they have an illness, right?
Yeah.
And accepting to get help.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so there was a lot of different layers to it. And really in the end, he actually didn't want to be married anymore and kind of left. So, you know, we try to have therapy. We try to see how to work through this. For me, also not understanding. I mean, when I was going through law school, I was actually working with mothers with schizophrenia to get their children back to them, like through the courts. So it's not that I didn't have any experience or compassion or understanding of mental health. I'd actually worked in the mental health system. But all mental health issues are different. Schizophrenia is very different from bipolar. And bipolar has the ups and downs and very, very hard to medicate. So it really... over time, it just destroyed the marriage, and we agreed then, you know, this is probably not going to work. It's time to separate. But it was also a time when, and I don't know if you've been in this situation, but the whole universe for me was saying, this time is done here. You finish this chapter. My company sold, so I didn't have a role anymore. My marriage was ending. So I was like, okay, now what? So that's really why I left the US.